The modern US Army has currently time traveled back into the Dark Ages. They've brought with them 63,000 soldiers with M1 Abrams, missile systems, Sea-Whiz turrets, and a few tactical nuclear launchers. But the medieval era armies have banded together to fight them. There are 6 million Egyptian warriors, Mongolian soldiers, as well as European footmen. We've got Western Roman Empire archers over here mixed with the footmen as well. Over this way, we've got Templar Knights on the battlefield. And over here, we've got ourselves Persian soldiers, and finally, last but not least, we have British men-at-arms troopers over here. There's 6.1 million medieval soldiers versus 63,700 modern US Army soldiers who currently hold the small hilltop here. Who will win? Only time will tell. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below who you want to win, every medieval army or the modern US Army. Let's get it. What's up, gamers? I'm here to tell you about Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is an amazing place where you can get some fire deals on all sorts of video games. Seriously, it's like 60 to 95% off, as you can see here. These are all of the Star Wars titles they have. They literally have every Star Wars title. You can also get XCOM here, Men of War Assault Squad 2. All of the games I play on the channel you can buy here for extremely cheap prices. If you use my affiliate link in the description, it helps me out a ton. So thank you guys for listening to this sponsorship, and thank you to Instant Gaming for continuing to sponsor the channel. Alrighty then, gamers, so to make the battle a little bit more interesting, a lot of the US Army soldiers on free move mode currently, and we've got some Spec Ops troopers up front over here with vectors, which will be pretty cool to see, and they're backed up by the Sea-Whizzes. Someone told me in the comments that's how that's pronounced. Please don't cringe at me if I get it wrong. I don't know. I'm just a naive, small person. Over here, we've got more modern soldiers that are on free move mode with decent spacing. Here's their missile launchers over this way, and they're already starting to fire out at some of those Egyptian soldiers over that way. On this side of the hill, we've actually got FBI agents, which I thought was kind of fun. They've, of course, got their Glocks here, and they're going to be firing down at, again, more Egyptian soldiers coming up. Over on the flank here, we've got some more modern soldiers right here. These guys are on guard mode, and they're going to be having the men-at-arms coming at them over here, which will be pretty lethal. I think these guys have actually a lot of health. Let's double check on that. Yeah, 500 health. That's actually pretty impressive for a medieval unit. And these US soldiers have 300 health, but of course they have automatic rifles, which makes a pretty big difference if you were to ask me. So we'll see how this ends up going for them. At the top of the hill, we have sort of the final stand area, and these guys are on hold move mode. They've got the nuclear, the tactical nuclear missile systems up here. We've seen them in some videos before. We've got ghillie suit snipers at the top of this hill. They can fire just like a mile away. They've got insane range. Down here, we've got more guard mode, US soldiers, and then the M1 Abrams. All right, so it looks like the small little fortification over here with the Spec Ops soldiers is starting to get charged, and the Spec Ops soldiers are starting to fire away at the oncoming Romans, European footmen. There should be some Mongols and Persians around this area too. The Knights Templar should be over here. Look at those Sea-Whizzes just absolutely shredding through these troops. Oh my god, modern technology is just absolutely baller. I love doing these ancient versus modern videos. It is so fun, mainly because something I feel like almost every kid, well, yeah, like every dude has dreamed about is like going back in time with an M60 and just becoming a god. It's just something I've always thought about. Like, how would you save your ammo? How would you make it so, you know, because you gotta travel back in time, you're gonna be resource limited. There isn't the infrastructure to create more bullets. So it's like, what do you bring, first of all, that's not too heavy? You know, how do you spare your ammo? Like, do you fire your gun if you have 100 rounds? Do you fire it like once a year to make sure people know you're still like this magical god and to not test them? You know, that sort of a thing. It's a very interesting concept to go back in time with a gun. just seems kind of sick. But either way, these footmen are getting absolutely destroyed by this small fort right here, and the Sea Wizards are absolutely tearing them apart. That is very, very good to see for the modern U.S. Army. Over here, where we've got our free-roaming U.S. soldiers, they're having a little bit more trouble against some of these Templar Knights and Persians. It seems like they're a little bit more scattered. They've got a bit of a hill defense up here, but it's not going super well because the Persians are getting kills on them. So this is not the best situation over here. I'm seeing a ton of soldiers flying through the air over here. That must mean the nuclear missile systems are working at some of these men-at-arms over here. That's good to see. Coming off of the hill with those big kills is going to be huge. But the modern U.S. soldiers over this way are also managing to gun down a lot of these guys as well. So despite them having really, really good health, it seems like they're not managing to get too much of a grip on this side of the battlefield. As it stands right now, we do have 1,600 dead U.S. soldiers and about 600,000 dead medieval soldiers, which is pretty crazy. But of course, those numbers are going to go up for both sides as the battle continues, because it's just going to get crazier and crazier from here. That is for sure. Either way, if you guys didn't see yesterday's video, I'm very curious, for those of you who did see it, what you thought of it, because it was a nearly 3-hour-long video where I played through the entirety of the U.S. campaign in Gates of Hell, well, the U.S. conquest campaign in Gates of Hell. So we went from literally the invasion of Omaha Beach all the way to just outside of Berlin, or through France, essentially, is actually what we ended up doing. And it took, it took me 5 hours, but it's about 3 hours worth of gameplay. I'm just very curious what you guys thought of it. Would you guys like to see more of that in the future, that sort of a thing? Because I've been really wanting to do a lot more strategy gaming on the channel where I actually get to control the troops and things like that. And Gates of Hell has always been a very good place to do that. And I, of course, still want to do more Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2 videos because these are so fun to do. But I'd love to sprinkle in a little bit more actual strategy gaming. I also thought about maybe doing some Total War videos and stuff like that. But I don't want to do an entire series. Like, I don't want to throw together 20 different videos of Total War all in a series. I'd much rather do one giant video. So some ways I thought about maybe doing that was someone actually sent me a disaster campaign the other day in my mail, which I thought was kind of cool. That's something that Legend of Total War has been doing for years, is his disaster campaign series. I thought that might be kind of fun to try and do my own spin on that. Let me know what you guys think of that, or maybe just doing a mini campaign all in one video or something. I don't know, something like that could be kind of cool. Either way, Knights Templar over here are just barely not getting to these Spec Ops troopers. However, the Roman archers are managing to hit them and get a few kills by impaling them with arrows from afar. So these guys are taking losses, but they're keeping the enemy at bay pretty decently. I mean, this fort is basically surrounded here from 3 sides. This side still has the modern soldiers defending over that way, so they're still good over there. But yeah, from 3 different sides, they're getting attacked here, and they're inching closer and closer, especially as those arrows find their marks. But I think the Sea Wizards are especially helping them at keeping these enemies at bay. That is actually pretty sick to see. Up top over here, missile systems still firing out. These things should fire out basically until they get killed. So that'll be really nice. That's just solid kills right there. I think it's about 50 to 100 kills per shot, so it's pretty nice, pretty frequent kills. FBI agents over this way are managing to keep the Egyptian troops at bay pretty nicely. These guys are trying to come up here with their, what are these the swords called? Scimitars? Scimitars? No. Is that what they're called? They're like cleavy kind of swords. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below. I'm not as well versed on Egyptian history as I am in some other parts of history, so let me know in the comments. But they're getting gunned down completely here. That is a beautiful, beautiful showing from the FBI agents. And those guys only have Glocks, so that makes it even a little bit more impressive. But down this way, it looks like we've got more Egyptians coming around this way, and they're actually getting a couple kills on some modern soldiers over here, and I think they're just trying to get to those missile systems. And of course, the M1 Abrams right next door there could be a pretty high-value target for those Egyptians to get to. At the moment, we have 10,000 dead modern soldiers, and we've got approximately 1.7 million dead medieval soldiers. We got men-at-arms now coming around this way, and it looks like they're heading up here to try and kill some of these modern soldiers over here. They're getting in there. They're getting a few swings off. I wouldn't be surprised if a few of these modern soldiers have actually died. This is supposed to be the final stand area, but they're already getting attacked, so maybe that is not going to be the case. Oh yeah, definitely a lot of modern US soldiers have died on this corner little ledge area over here, and it looks like some more men-at-arms are coming around this way. They could eventually get to the ghillie suit snipers who are over here. I think that's because these modern soldiers that are on the ground over here are slowly getting overwhelmed by just too many troops coming forward at them, getting surrounded, and it's letting some leaks come through to the end game over that way. How's the other side of the hill doing? Okay, these guys ended up taking some serious losses, and they're in a very strange Florida-shaped peninsula right here, defending against people that are just pressuring them from all sides. So some major losses going down over here as well. The U.S. Army is about to cross 2 million kills on the medieval soldiers here, and they're down to 50,000 soldiers themselves. I don't think those nukes are firing as much as they could be. They don't fire very quickly. I mean, they are literal nukes. They're not as good as the God Power nuke, of course, but they are still very powerful. So right now, them not firing is not helping, but they could just be reloading because they probably have a pretty long reload animation since it's a literal nuke. Okay, it looks like this area over here is starting to get taken over, and I think a major part of that is those archers hurting these guys. There's only 500,000 Roman archers on the battlefield, so it's not a huge amount that the medieval units have to work with, but clearly it is getting some serious work done against these guys, as this area is starting to fall a little bit more. But you know what? They had a really good run of it, man. They've gotten hundreds of thousands of kills just from that position, so I'm not too mad about that. I'd like to see a time lapse because you can see very easily where the lines of the battlefield are from this overhead. I'd love to do a time lapse of right here and slowly watch those medieval units squeeze in against the modern units defending right here, as well as those sea whizzes eventually going quiet as they die out. I think this will look really cool. So let's go ahead and do that for our first time lapse of the video. Alright, so things are not going super well for the modern soldiers, it seems. Their sea whizzes did go down during that time lapse, and the defense has been pushed way farther back this way. Oh, there's a nuke. Nice! They're finally firing the nukes. There we go. So, modern soldiers backpedaling, as well as some of the Spec Ops soldiers in the mix here. At least they're retreating back up the hill so they can help the defenders there. They're not just dying out, and that's part of the nice thing with, you know, sort of the guard mode there. Looks like there's a very large last stand over here where they're completely surrounded. So that'll be interesting. These guys will just die before they're able to retreat back, but I think that's just because they slowly got encompassed, and that's that. So hopefully these guys can make it back up, though they're also slowly getting encompassed, so that's not fantastic either. The U.S. Army has lost now 36,000 troopers. They've only got 26,000 left, but they've killed 3.5 million, so there's only 2.5 million enemies currently remaining on the battlefield. The U.S. is over halfway done with their soldiers, and the medieval soldiers are halfway done with theirs as well. So it's actually kind of a tie game right now, which is, yeah, it's almost exactly a tie game, except the U.S. is losing by just a little bit in that tie game of ratios, which is crazy. But you have to remember the U.S. still does have the missile systems, which are like firing overtime right now into the enemy below. That is beautiful, man. Look at them getting spanked down there by some rockets. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, if you guys keep that up, we might be Gucci. The FBI agent's still doing phenomenally against the Egyptians over here. They've almost completely wiped them out. Look at these body piles here. They're huge. These are all bodies going up this mountain. Absolutely phenomenal. So the FBI agents, hopefully, if they defeat them, which will still take a while, but maybe then they could go over here and help out some of these modern soldiers over this way who have taken significant losses and seem to be struggling a little bit. All right, to the top of the hill. Over this way, we've got more men-at-arms coming up here against some of the modern soldiers, but it looks like the free-roaming modern soldiers took back this little corner area over here, which is a pretty good move because this is an important place, because if this falls, then the nukes fall eventually, and that's not a good thing at all. Oh, but over here is rough. Look at this. The Egyptians The men-at-arms of the Brits coming up this hill in spades right now. Yeah, okay, so the men falling over here have left a very large gap in which the medieval soldiers can come on up here and start getting some swings on some modern soldiers over this way. So this is definitely a riskier area over here. This is a risky area over here. There's a lot of risk factor right now on the battlefield. A lot of gaps in which the medieval units could potentially make very, very big gains. I mean, look how many medieval units are still alive. It is a tremendous amount out here. Yep, that's 2.5 million soldiers. Wow. Okay, so 3.8 million kills for the US soldiers and 41,000 kills for the medieval soldiers. Things are getting tighter and tighter on this here battlefield. Oh man, it is some brutality right now. Look at this. Look at the charges from the Knights Templar right here. Oh, looks so cool. Yeah, they're getting a lot of kills now. It is exponentially going up against the US Army. We don't like to see that. That's not good. Well, I guess you like to see it if you're rooting for the medieval soldiers. Yeah, I guess I am rooting for the US right now. I don't know. You know, you got to rep your team. America, let's go. Heck yeah. So this is likely to fall, and then that will result in some flanks towards the Abrams over here as well, which will be no bueno. Yeah, you can kind of see it happening right now, actually, as the Knights Templar now cut up the hill this way, and now they're running a flank on these guys over here. Oh, yikes. That's very not good. So things are looking bad over here. Looking okay at the top of the hill this way. But then over here, it's also looking kind of bad. So why don't we time-lapse these guys getting eaten into? Because this will look really cool, I think. Alright, well, the modern soldiers here were getting eaten away at, but it seems like somehow these guys got backtracked. Either, it might have been a nuke, honestly. There's another one going off. Yeah, I think a nuke might have backtracked them a little bit, but they're just going to re-horde up here and go back in, it looks like. And that's that fighting spirit, baby. Only 16,000 US soldiers currently remaining, and about little under 2 million of these medieval soldiers currently going in. And yeah, they're right back at it. So I think a nuke probably wiped them out for the time being, giving these soldiers a little bit of a breather, but now these guys are back in there and cutting it up again. It looks like we've got a breakthrough of Templar Knights over this way against the ghillie suit snipers, who are really, really great ranged, of course, but once they get closer, they're not going to be able to do nearly as much. So that's going to be a bit of a problem here for them for sure. Not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. So a lot of those ghillie suit snipers going to go down due to those Knights Templar coming in. Oh, a nuke saves them for a little bit, but that's going to be temporary for sure. More will definitely just come in. Over this way, yeah, it seems like we're up to the missile systems now, and these medieval soldiers are coming in and cutting them up, destroying them, getting some serious kills. Modern soldiers aren't going to be able to fend these guys off for too much longer. The nukes are helping. I think without the nukes, it would be like Jover right now. But even still, the nukes are good for, you know, some good kills, but not army wiping. You know, they're not going to wipe an entire army. They're good as artillery, essentially. They're basically just glorified artillery with a little bit bigger of a boom boom. Not the real nukes. I mean, we can here's a real nuke. We'll launch it like way far away, but yeah. That's the real nuke. It's huge. It's gigantic compared to the mini nukes. But don't worry, that was too far away to hurt anyone. They might get cancer in a few years, but that's fine. Up this way, we've got footmen now. The Egyptians have been replaced with footmen somehow, and so they're coming up against the FBI agents here. Actually, it looks like some of these FBI agents ended up dying to them. That's interesting. So they must have gotten up here and gotten some kills against the FBI or something along those lines. Or maybe archers? Because I don't really... Oh yeah, more are dying. How are you guys dying? Oh, I see arrows. I see arrows. So there's gotta be... Yes, there's Roman archers over here. That's the problem. Okay, so the FBI agents are meeting Roman archer resistance now up here, which is resulting in their deaths. That's interesting because I was like, I don't see any bodies over here of medieval soldiers that could have killed these FBI agents, But no, it was the archers who are picking them off little by little up here now. I mean, of course, the FBI agents are getting so many more kills, but they themselves are getting killed now too. And each FBI agent is worth way more than one archer, so there's that. Oh, a couple missile systems made their way over here, though, which is kind of funny. Look at that. Yeah, a few more are just, sliding on over there. Sliding on over. Very nice. Well, this is brutal, man. 13,000 U.S. soldiers remain. What is that number? 1.5 million, 1.6 million medieval soldiers remain. It's coming down to it. This is a very competitive battle here. But let's watch over here. It's not a good angle. There's too many trees. Too many trees. None of these are very good angles. It doesn't look good. No, that's not going to be a good time-lapse area. I feel like up here is kind of cool, but the real problem is that yeah, this is cool because it shows the background area over there, but also we can see the different men-at-arms and Knights Templar attacking the top here too. So I think this is a cool one. Yeah. All right, let's rock this as our time lapse, baby. Alright guys, nuke went off. I just stopped the time lapse because we're about to cross into 10,000 US soldiers remaining. So at the moment, things are still very even. 10,000 US soldiers versus 1.2 million of the medieval soldiers. So pretty much every 10,000 soldiers, 1 million medieval soldiers have died. It's actually been a very, very even battle here. And I'm still very curious to see who's going to end up winning this thing. Because at the moment, it is like basically tied up ratio-wise. It's incredible. The FBI is doing quite poorly up here, I will say. They're getting killed by a lot of archers. You can see the losses they've taken recently. The missile systems tried to kind of come in and alleviate, I think, some of that pressure, but I'm not sure how successful they are in doing that. So if the FBI does really fall over here, we might be looking at a flank coming in the rear of these guys over this way, which could be dooming these soldiers. So it's crucial the FBI survives for at least a little bit longer over this way. So why don't we go ahead and time-lapse that, because this is a very, very key part of the battle right in this little area. Okay, so the Knights have succeeded in toppling the FBI up here. There's only a few soldiers left who have retreated back to the top of the hill over on this side. So right now the Knights are going to be hunting them down a little bit more, and then they might pivot towards these guys in the back over here. Meanwhile, this way, the Knights have actually pushed up to these missile systems and are likely going to be killing them. I think this one's already dead. This one's on its dying breath. So it's pretty brutal up here right now, but we've still got a solid amount of modern soldiers here. These guys up here are protecting the flank from these guys over here. Up here, it is kind of pandemonium. Not looking too good, not looking too good. But there's only 850,000 medieval units currently alive and 8,400 modern soldiers still alive. So literally, this is super even. For every 1 million medieval soldiers killed, 10,000 of the modern U.S. Army soldiers were killed. And right now, they're still doing that ratio even into the late game. So it is anyone's game. At this point in time, it's very, very, very hard to tell if the modern soldiers are going to end up being victorious or the medieval soldiers are going to end up being victorious. It is incredibly difficult to see at this point in time. So kind of crazy. Kind of a crazy situation we're in. The Knights Templar are, charging some of these guys over here. Looks like they're getting some kills, but they're still struggling to do so. So it's not over yet over that way. This is crazy, man. This is truly, truly some wonky stuff. I say we do a close-up time-lapse like right around here and check it out, because it's taken a while for this battle to end, but it's totally worth it because it is super close. The modern units are somewhat taking a little bit of a lead here, it seems, against the medieval units. Uh-oh. What is going on here? Are we glitching? Are we glitching? Uh-oh. We got a bit of a game glitch at the very end. They're like bumping some techno. That's unique. Okay. But some are managing to make it up this way? What if I tried to do the RTS mode thing and tried to get them to attack again? Not really working, but maybe they'll break free at some point. It's kind of lucky for the modern soldiers, I'm not gonna lie. Because, I mean, it was neck and neck for a while there, and it seems like medieval units might win just purely based on a glitch. Let's let it just... I'm just gonna let it play for a little bit and see if it sorts itself out, but, I mean, I think the modern units might have had it, but I'm hoping the glitch resolves itself and we might get some cool action. Well, guys, it seems like this hasn't really been fixed. I don't know what happened. I've actually never seen this glitch before. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take all of the modern units and set them to attack. I think that should work. Yeah, okay, they're all attacking now. And we're going to let them sort of pave the way through all of these last standing medieval units here. Okay, well, a few of them are counterattacking. That's great. Wow. Well, that would really blow if all of the medieval units, the second the modern units start coming close to them, they just start counterattacking, because then the modern units are for sure going to die. That would be really, really bad news for them. We shall see. Yeah, I really don't know. These guys are attacking, but they might have been attacking before. I don't know. There was like a trickle in happening. There's a bunch of guys coming from way back here. Where? Oh. On the mountaintop here. That's funny. These guys are unaffected by the glitch. Look at them go. That's so funny. How much health do they have? Okay, they lose almost all their health when they do that. They're just yeeting off the cliff left and right. Yeehaw, baby. Oh my god. That's so stupid. Alright, well, it's interesting that they aren't affected by the glitch, but all of the armies over here are. Oh! They're nuking them now. They're nuking them big time. Oh, yeah. Yeah, medieval numbers are starting to plummet as U.S. soldiers just kind of nuke them and stuff. Let's just time-lapse the end here, because it definitely is Jover for the medieval units. I'm sorry this glitch happened, but I kind of think the modern units probably had it anyway, but I guess we'll never know now. Alright, well, there's 1,000 medieval units now left alive. I think they're all suiciding off of this probably, or something along those lines. I'm not totally sure where they are, but the modern soldiers do get this win, and I think it's a good win, but it does have the caveat of the game glitched. That's the real caveat there. And that's the only problem I have with this win, is that the glitch game. I kind of think they would have won regardless, but at the same time, we'll just never know, and that's kind of sad about this battle. But let me know in the comment section below, like, what do you guys think? Do you guys think they won fair and square? Do you think, you know, do you think the medieval units would have won? Let me know in the comments. Either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below. I'll see you on the next one. Peace! I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.